Page 51, Chapter 10. George and Aunt Daisy scrambled to get dressed and put on their life jackets. Aunt Daisy brought Phoebe's warmest coat, and George carried the extra life jacket. They'd quickly find Phoebe and head up to the boat deck. And tomorrow morning this would be a big joke to laugh at over breakfast. George thought that Phoebe had gone to the promenade deck, that she'd been woken up by the commotion with the ice, and figured that George had gone out to see what was happening. But when they got to the main staircase, he saw that the yellow glints were headed downstairs, not up to the deck. His heart sank. Phoebe had headed down to the first-class baggage hold because she knew that George would want to see that mummy. Of course she'd known. Phoebe could read his mind. A chill went through George's bones. What if the scar-faced man was lurking in the baggage hold when Phoebe got there? He ran faster down the stairs now. Aunt Daisy called after him, but he didn't slow down. But when he got down to G deck, there was a gate stretched across the doorway. "This wasn't here when I came down," he said to Aunt Daisy. He tried to pull it open, but it was locked. And just on the other side, there was a mob of people, restlessly, third-class passengers from the looks of their worn clothing. "Look," Aunt Daisy said, pointing at one of Phoebe's candies glinting on the floor on the other side of the gate, pushed next to the wall. "She's down here. Pardon me," she called to the steward standing in front of the crowd. "You've gone the wrong way, madame," he said, staring at Aunt Daisy's huge diamond ring. "The captain wants first-class passengers up on the boat deck now." "My niece is down here somewhere," Aunt Daisy said. "You need to let us through." "I'm sure she wouldn't have wandered down this far," the steward said. "We're quite sure she's down here," Aunt Daisy said, "so if you'll please open the gate." "I'm sorry, madame," he said. "Regulations." "Open this gate at once," Aunt Daisy shouted, in a tone George had never heard her use before. The man took a key from his pocket and opened the gate. He stepped aside to let them pass. The crowd surged forward. "Get back!" the steward shouted. "We'll tell you when it's time for you to go up." A few of the men lunged toward him. Aunt Daisy grabbed George's arm. The steward took a pistol from his pocket. His hand shook as he waved it toward the crowd. George and Aunt Daisy stepped through the gate. The steward slammed it behind them. They were trapped down there, just like everyone else. George and Aunt Daisy squeezed through the crowd, weaving around trunks and stepping over sleeping children. There were so many people. If Phoebe's candies were down here, they couldn't see them anymore. Suddenly, something crashed into George from behind. A pair of arms wrapped around his waist so tightly he couldn't breathe. George's heart stopped. The scar-faced man? "Giorgio!" Enzo screamed up at him. George's eardrums nearly split in two. Enzo's father hurried over to them. He tried to gently peel Enzo away from George, but the little boy wouldn't let go. "No!" he howled. "No!" "Very sorry," Marco said, smiling apologetically at Aunt Daisy, who looked more confused than ever. "We're old friends of Giorgio." George started to introduce Aunt Daisy, but before he could get 3 words out, Enzo was dragging him down the hall, elbowing his way through the crowd like a pint-sized bull. "See? See?" Enzo said. "What?" George said. "No. See? See?" What was this kid doing? What did he want George to see? The answer was just a few steps away, through an open doorway. It was the mail sorting room, except now all George could see was water. Green water swirling halfway up the stairs, foaming and churning like a stormy river. Sacks of mail bobbed up and down. Hundreds of letters floated on the surface. And now George understood what Enzo was saying. Sea. The sea. The Titanic was filling with water from the sea.